Voilà, Pacifique Sud, ça envoie sur nos captures. On est sous grand voile de riz et J3, et la mer est très forte. Il y a entre 25 et 35 nœuds de vent, ce qui n'est pas beaucoup, mais par contre la mer est très abrupte. Et ce matin d'ailleurs on a eu un petit souci, mais ça va, là c'est reparti. Et on va bientôt empanner parce qu'on arrive sur la zone d'exclusion encore elle. Alors c'est pas top parce que le vent n'a pas encore tourné à l'ouest, mais on va être obligé de faire des petits bords de 50 000 en attendant que ça tourne à l'ouest. Voilà. En route vers le Cap Horn. Allez, à plus tard, ciao.
So the animation today is showing Chamonix-Pujola in the South Atlantic, just off the latitude of Rio. They were upwind for a period, should get across into easterly winds, but there you see them upwind and fairly light breezes, but strengthening last night. Gaia Centris Auditivus and Neutrogena in light airs in the centre of a high pressure, really struggling. And then in the Pacific, approaching Cape Horn, you see We Are Water and One Planet, One Ocean still relatively close together, about 800 miles to Cape Horn. And Renault Cap Tour, they have the best conditions on the front of the low pressure, which is just behind them. And their Spirit of Hungary in also light winds between 3 high pressure systems, and they're going to have 24 hours more. And today's ranking, the 5th of March, that's Thursday. Looking at the ranking at 9 o'clock this morning, Chamonix-Pujola, a fairly steady day's run of 234.68 miles, 9.6 knots of VMG, a little bit quicker this morning at 10.3 knots. But Neutrogena struggling just a little bit in the conditions that they have, very light, 5.2 knots VMG over the last 24 hours. That means only 124 miles made over 24 hours. A little bit quicker, things looking better now, 10.3 knots this morning. In contrast, Gaia Centris Auditivus still slow, 2.6 knots, 4.2 knots over the last 4 hours, and 7.6 knots, so they've made about 60 miles on Neutrogena in the last 24 hours. We Are Water, steady progress towards Cape Horn, same with the One Planet, One Ocean, One Planet, One Ocean, a little bit quicker this morning and a little bit quicker over 24 hours. And Renault Cap Tour, quickest off the fleet, 13.6 knots this morning and 14.8 averages.
Aquí estamos en el Atlántico, disfrutando de demasiado poco viento, lamentablemente, esperando tratar de agarrar algo, pero bueno, es la vida, así que estamos, creo que ya frente a Buenos Aires, Mar del Plata, está. Muy lento, pero bueno, es la vida.
¿Podríais en los próximos días recortarle millas al Chamonix-Pujola cuando éste entre en las calmas ecuatoriales? ¿Os habéis planteado esta situación?
Siempre se plantea, la idea es que, bueno, tratar de ir lo más rápido posible, la idea siempre es hacerlo lo mejor. Bueno, tenemos un buen barco, tengo un muy buen skipper, así que estamos intentando de buscar la mejor ruta para poder llegar lo más rápido posible y en la mejor posición posible hacia Barcelona. No, bien. Como te digo, ya sabiendo que ya estamos casi en línea en la última recta, uno trata también de mentalizarse, bueno, o sea, desde que partió, la mentalidad es siempre que el barco vaya a 100 y tratar de llegar lo más rápido posible, entonces no da tiempo para pensar en otras cosas.
So the front half of the fleet, well, in the Atlantic, then Chamonix-Pujola really have had the best conditions. They've been a question of good timing for them. They have had a period of upwind sailing overnight and this morning, but they'll get into the easterlies and will make better progress towards the equator from today onwards. They'll get into the trade winds fairly shortly. Trade winds not very well organised, but they're certainly there at the easterlies and southeasterlies. Meantime, Neutrogena have had a pretty tough time. It's been very frustrating in light and fickle winds, but Guillermo Altadil and Jose Munoz now appear to be getting into better winds. They were making 10.3 knots this morning, but it's been really difficult times. Nothing they could have done about it. The high pressure is in front of them and they had to sail through it. There was no way around it logically and sensibly, but they have lost a few miles on Chemney-Pujala, nothing they could do about that, and Gaius Centros Auditivos, so too. They're just a little bit better timing. They haven't had to came into the high a little bit later and have not been quite as bad, but they have only made 183 miles over the last 24 hours. So a question of really sucking up the nasty medicine for Neutrogena and Gaius and Chemney-Pujala going away at the moment. We spoke with Jose Munoz this morning, first time for a while, and really he was saying that although the conditions are very much better in terms of daytime temperatures and the sea conditions are so much better than the south, really he feels his heart is in the south. He prefers the cold of the Pacific and enjoys the challenge, but he played a great tribute once again to his co-skipper Guillermo Altadil, saying what a great skipper he is.
Fantastic. I just woke up from a long nap, so I'm feeling pretty perky. There's not a lot happening on the Spirit of Hungary, it must be said, because we have hit every single speed bump that there is on this race course, and so we have no wind again. We have 10, 11 knots, and we're trying to go downwind as best we can, but really it's pretty tranquil. It's the perfect anti-storm. I'm reading a book called The Emperor of All Melodies. It's a story about the treatment of cancer. Certainly interesting, and keeps me awake at night when I do my long shift, and certainly gives me plenty to think about for the rest of the time. And now, thankfully, after our blitz in New Zealand, we don't have too much maintenance work to do at the moment, and so we can just enjoy being at sea. I'm quite keen on doing triathlon when I get back, and I'm afraid about my form degrading, and so I can't run, bike, or swim while I'm on the boat at the moment. But I can do push-ups and sit-ups and squats and stretching, and so it was nice. This morning when the sun was rising, I was doing yoga on the front of the boat, and it's very pleasant. It's fine. I do a big sleep in the morning and maybe a nap in the afternoon, as I just did, and then typically we'll have dinner and then I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake them up for breakfast. It's a consequence of the fact that we have light conditions at the moment, and there's no need to wake each other up at every 4 hours. One or other of us is feeling fit. So it's a gift that we can give to the other person at the moment, given our conditions and our circumstances. It will change again soon when we have more work to do. We've still got at least a full light day ahead of us, and then we're going to have some nice reaching conditions from the south. For all the stories of a ferocious Southern Ocean, we're getting a pretty easy go of it at the moment.
The Three Musketeers approaching Cape Horn, well, just over 700 miles just now for We Are Water, for the Garcia brothers. They're still expected to be there on Saturday, and at the moment, One Planet, One Ocean Pharmaton are about 10 hours behind. Conditions look quite favourable for them just now. They have about 15 to 20 knots of northwesterly breeze. A little bit more wind pressure still for the boat behind, which is One Planet, One Ocean Pharmaton. But conditions generally pretty good for them in this part of the South Pacific. Renault Captur have been the quickest in the fleet just now, making around about 15-16 knots. They're pretty much downwind just now. That was what they said more recently. Their problem, such as it is, that they're going to have to be making 50 to 60 mile jibes, so that's going to keep them busy. Finding it quite cold down where they are just now at around about 49 degrees south, but they are presently heading north. They'll go back down to the south after the next jibe, but things going pretty well for them. We spoke with Conrad Coleman on Spirit of Hungary, who was giving a little insight into his life on board at the moment. They say they are stuck between three high pressures. It's like summer, it's like the Mediterranean for them just now. Clear blue skies during the day and clear skies at night. Very strong full moon. He was talking about physical exercise, keeping himself fit, and he's doing a long night shift most nights just now to try and maximise the sleep that they can both make. And so that's just really taking advantage of the conditions. Should improve in the next 48 hours and get back into the low pressure train.
Ich erkläre jetzt mal ein bisschen unseren Tagesablauf. Alle 2 Stunden dürfen wir 2 Stunden schlafen. Danach verlassen wir den wunderbaren, schönen warmen Schlafsack. Weil es kalt ist, haben wir halt mehrere Lagen an Klamotten drunter, angefangen beim Baselayer. Also den komplett funktioniert schick als Hose, als auch als Shirt. Darüber tragen wir dann diese wunderbaren grauen Fließgeschichten, sowohl als auch als Shirt als auch als Hose. Dann noch diese Überziehhose, damit man halt nicht nass wird, wenn man an Deck arbeitet und auch das Ölzeug anhat. Und zum Schluss diese wunderbaren farblich abgesetzten Socken, die wir ungefähr so alle 1,5 Wochen wechseln. Ja, das ist unser Outfit. Das Anziehen dauert ungefähr knapp 2-3 Minuten und dann ist man gewappnet für die Kälte da draußen. Ja, das ist der Tagesablauf. Bis dann. Tschüss.
Good morning. Situation for the leaders in Atlantic. Still Pujula is benefit with anticyclone of Saint Helene with east wind, so very moderate wind to have a good trace to go in the close to the doldrums now. He is winning in latitude very quickly with a straight race. It's not the same thing for Neutrogena and Gas. They are still in difficulties, very variable winds, and winds up the wind, so not the same trajectory, obliged to have a long course to come to equator. So Pujula, we can think it could have to equator maybe between Neutrogena and Pujula. We thought it could be 5 days difference for the moment. About the low pressure in South Pacific, we can see for today and the next night, we have a big pressure, big low pressure. We are really happy they will pass before the 2 boats like Weirwater and Oppo. They are just in front of them, so no problem for them. It could be very dangerous to pass Cap Horn today, but for them it will be safe. They are going north a little bit to have good pressure, and they will come back after along Chilean coast to pass Cap Horn. It could be 7 of March for the 2 boats. About Renault is still in a good system of low pressure too. It will be quickly to the Cap Horn and could be around 9 of March to Cap Horn. Spirit is still with more difficulties, very high pressure, slow wind, very variable wind, so not really good speed, but the next 24, 36 hours, it could have better condition to go fast to the following boats.